why time and influence on this planet is more important than wealth, and how that priority change affects our relationships as sensitive people. Hi, my name is Leah Chantel. Welcome back to my relationship channel, and today I'm talking about how this shift in priorities to focusing on time being a value and your influence on other people being more valuable than just wealth itself. And I think wealth gets tied into a lot of things. I think people do associate wealth with having more time and more influence. So sometimes they coincide too, and that's a fair assessment to make. Our wealth can potentially create more time with loved ones and more value shifts that allow us to influence people because we've had time to develop our own self-confidence and we're not so busy working for someone else's approval that we haven't considered how we can even influence or make the planet a better place. Now, there's nothing wrong with spending your time working in a job or doing things that fulfill your responsibilities. All of those things are perfectly okay, and they're not necessarily a waste of time. But you want to be in balance. You want to find ways you contribute to the planet while you're here. And if you can do that through your job, that's really, really great, because your job is where you spend 40 hours a week for a lot of your adulthood. So having a way to make an impact on society in your full-time job can really enhance your life and make it that much better. But also don't force it. If you're trying to do something to make the world a better place, but you're feeling burned out in your job, like let's say you're trying to help the homeless full-time. I've heard of people doing that and then burning out. So the homeless is a wonderful cause. There's nothing wrong with that particular cause, but it might not be the right cause for you. And I think that's a very fair assessment to make. Not every cause is gonna resonate with all of us. Some of them are gonna burn us out, and we shouldn't just take them on out of obligation because we think we should be making the world a better place. We want to transform the world and make the better place, but don't force it either. If you're happy painting pictures, then you should be painting pictures. If you're happy on a computer typing away, then you should do that. Whatever it is that really brings you the most joy, that's the thing you should be doing to contribute to the planet. There's nothing wrong with wealth in itself, but the problem is if you chase purely after wealth, let's say you move to a big city, you work 80 hours a week for a corporation that is about their bottom line, and then the work you do, you feel doesn't really serve other people. You're just spending a lot of your time grinding something out, very mundane, that doesn't impact people's lives. And then you go home exhausted because you're working 80 hours a week to survive, and there's nothing for you to do at the end of your day. You just want to sleep because your whole day has been consumed by working this crazy schedule. That's what I mean. Like, you don't want to focus on the highest paying job or wealth by itself, because it could be so intense that it creates a lifestyle where you have room for nothing else. You have no room to contribute to humanity or go volunteer at the homeless shelter or your library or the Humane Society or wherever it is you want to go to contribute to other people. And it could be vegetarian cooking classes, it could be friendships, it could be your family, or helping take care of a nephew or niece. Whatever that is for you, you need to make sure your time is well spent and that you are in the places where you are needed and creating a difference and being a good influence. If you can't be in those places and you don't have that time and you don't have that chance to influence the next generation because you're so busy doing what you're doing, then there could be a problem. And you may need to look at your life and evaluate what's really working and what's not working. I'm now thinking about it. I'm going through a conflict at the moment where I'm spending a lot of time on weekends helping animals. And I love helping animals. I have a committed time where I show up and I make them feel more comfortable and at home in the animal shelter, and I clean out their cages and just make sure they're fed and they have treats and they've had time to play outside their cage, and I love it. But the problem with this commitment, there's just one problem, and that's the time frame. It's always Saturday afternoon. And anytime I get asked by my family or asked by friends to do something else, that obligation is always in the way, and it's always very difficult to schedule it out. It's not impossible to schedule it out. It can be done with many, many, many weeks in advance, but it's not always possible. And then I feel bad when I don't have that time to spend with animals and to help them. Like I love it. I want to be there with them. I have to ask myself, what is the more important priority? Should I be spending time with my humans on the weekend, or should I be spending time with the animals that I love at the Humane Society? That's not an easy one for me. I really love both. And unfortunately, the Humane Society is not easy to reschedule. They have very limited hours and limited volunteer opportunities, and it's very competitive to even get in. I was very lucky I got in. So honestly, I'm still figuring that one out. And maybe the answer to that could be that my friends and family just really need to honor that commitment that I have on Saturdays, that I am there with the animals and that I love it and I don't want to give it up. And maybe over time I'll reevaluate and maybe I'll change my mind. There could be other volunteer opportunities that I want to do with the Humane Society in the future. But for now, that seems to be the way it's working out. And our time and our priorities and our choices make a huge difference, because they're actually the things that we look back on in life, where when we're on our deathbed, we wonder what we did with our lives to contribute to society. And we look at those things and we know that was a good use of my time. Like, I had this wonderful use of my time where I felt like I was really hitting the bullseye recently, and I was helping the homeless. And this was, even though I love helping animals and I love helping seniors with technology, those are two big volunteer opportunities that I absolutely love. But on this particular day, I was handing out food to the homeless, and there was this blind woman in a wheelchair who couldn't fix her wheelchair. Somebody had taken the foot off for some reason for her, and her foot was in a lot of pain and she needed the footrest. And she was cold, she was outside and needed also to go inside. So I saw her, and usually I'm supposed to be handing out food or preparing food. Like, that's my main volunteer role at the homeless shelter. What I decided to do was I got the staff and I tried to go get help. The staff were having difficulty pushing her wheelchair. She was a little bit heavier, so thankfully I'm strong. So I pushed her wheelchair and I got her inside, got her warm. Then the staff and we were able to move her to another chair. And then I was able to look at her wheelchair, and some other homeless, I was just figuring it out as I went, and I knew roughly what piece went into where, but some other homeless actually knew how to fix the wheelchair too, and they were giving me guidance and helping me fix this wheelchair, and I snapped it back into place, which in itself was such a fulfilling and amazing experience that I didn't know that I could have, but it was incredible. If I had been letting my romantic relationships run amok and take up all my time, or all of my priorities at work keeping me busy, then I may have never found time to go and volunteer at the homeless shelter or the animal shelter or anywhere. That's why focusing our time and priorities on things that matter to us really, really should take precedence over any obligation to a potential partner who's like asking for our time, but maybe doesn't want to get married or doesn't like commitment. Like, why would you let a person like that pull you away from your life mission? Maybe you're meant to save someone else's life. You could be that important if you gave yourself that time and that priority to make a difference in somebody else's life. Don't let a boss either take over your life. Like, they could be really pulling you away from your life's mission as well, especially if the job is not that meaningful and is not serving society in some deep way. I'm not saying you can't have a boyfriend or you can't have a job. Those things are important. That's part of our lives as human beings, and we need material things to an extent to survive. But don't let that part of your life overwhelm the stuff that is more important for you to do on the planet while you're here as a human being. You've got to keep your love of humanity and your ability to serve at the forefront of your consciousness. and make that the priority rather than chasing after material things.